Some have said that our show is like driving a Pinto where the wheels are falling off.
Have some said that.
I said it right now.
Play
any good shows recently?
welcome to episode 10.
11.
Holy shit. Welcome to episode... and cut. And welcome to episode 11. What's the name of our show?
Backseat Playlist Podcast, episode 11. I had to introduce it last week because Phoenix wasn't here and it did not go well.
I died. I was dead.
He's now resurrected.
I am God. Kind of. Not really.
In his own mind.
In my own house, I am.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes...
Beware me, dust bunnies.
Do you ever feel like you ever been behind a 24-channel analog Mackie and you're just like, I am God. I have the power.
Yeah, but I've also seen people who cave under the pressure. Oh, man.
Did you see anybody cave under the pressure
I
on
did.
an analog Mackie recently?
Oh, man. So we won't name names. You can figure it out if you follow any of us. We're there. But me and Adam were both at a show over the past weekend, and there was a national headliner playing. And I guess they didn't bring their own board. Their mix engineer was just mixing on whatever the
house system
or whatever the promoter was bringing in. And I guess he didn't take time in the fucking 5 hours that was the other thing that blew my mind, was that they were there from like 2 o'clock until they went on at 9:30. Like that was 7.5 hours to take a look at that board and go, do I know how to use this? And apparently in none of that time did that guy think, maybe I should see what I'll be mixing on tonight.
Also, I wouldn't be excited about that.
Yeah,
console.
I'd be like, shucks, but
I could, I could get sound through it for like open mic night or something.
But that was so funny. We're in the back area near where, in like the merch area, and we get a text from Corey, and she's like, or was Corey or her dad text you, or was it Corey texted you what her dad had said? I don't remember. Basically,
No.
We get
her parents were near. I'm gonna call it side of house because it was not.
It was not front of house.
It was not mixed position. Also, there was definitely like some safety hazards. That was definitely enacted.
Some.
The
whole building is a safety
hazard. There
hazard.
was a show of safety violations because the headliner wouldn't share the stage, so the bands had to set up in the audience section. So the audience section very quickly became the path out of the building in case of fire. So I think if there would have been pyro, I probably would have just left.
Dude, it was so great seeing the daisy chain upon daisy chain of power strips into extension cables into more power strips just to get power from the stage to the fucking, basically the bar. Basically, the opening bands were set up right in front of the fucking bar. You literally could have possibly reached out and been like, yeah, can I get a Jack and Coke? And it had it handed to you.
It would have only passed between like 4 hands maybe. And that's 2 of them are someone who's just like, I know this guy and I don't want to spill his drink.
It's just like, oh my God. But yeah, so we're back at the merch area and this band, we're like, wait for this band to start. And we're like, weren't they supposed to go on at like 9:30? And it's 9:45 and we get a text. The sound guy is losing his fucking mind. He's just yelling and having a meltdown. And Adam goes, ooh, not me for once? I want to go see this.
I want to go watch. I want to see what I look like. I don't think I have super meltdowns. I'll have moments.
Oh, we all have moments when we're running.
Like maybe I've yelled at a band, if you don't know how your gear works, don't fucking bring it on stage. God damn it.
But yeah, this sound guy's like losing his shit. What does he scream? What does he scream?
He apparently yelled, I'm tired of driving a Pinto where the wheel's falling off. And I don't know if it was in reference to just a very outdated console or just maybe it was the tour or something.
They were on like I don't know how
like
long
show
they said
3 or 5 or something. It wasn't a lot.
It's just like, well, we added up what they were probably being paid, and we're like, ooh, this might be taking it. Well, I guess he'd be guaranteed money, right, as the sound guy?
Yeah, no, your crew gets guaranteed.
Your crew's guaranteed.
I actually listened to a bunch. I found a new podcast I really like. There's nothing like finding a new podcast and just binging it.
Right.
Like it's one of my favorite feelings.
Yeah.
And it's one with 2 front of house engineers, and they did it over the quarantine of the pandemic. So their episodes have slowed down because they're back touring with like the big acts. Like the one guy is the front of house guy for Iron Maiden.
Oh my
and
God.
the other guy is the front of house guy for Bruno Mars. So they're like it's not
top of the top. Yeah.
they're not, Wayne's Worlding it like we are. Their opinions are worthwhile. It's the Pooch and Raybold podcast.
That's an
Look
amazing
it up.
name.
His nickname is Pooch. Ken Pooch Van Druten.
That's his whole name, Ken Pooch Van Druten.
Pooch is his nickname. So his first name is Ken.
Ken Van Druten.
Yeah.
Okay, Pooch is a nick. Okay, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
that's
if you've ever looked on like
name.
a Waves plugin and you've seen like Pooch something in the presets, that's his.
Maybe. Oh, okay. That's
like
cool.
if you go to C6, I think there's one called Pooch Vocals.
Speaking of front of house engineers that have presets, I think it is was it in Plugin Alliance? I think Brad Divins has some presets.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
was
a
like, oh, that's
PA,
fucking
yeah.
cool. I was like, I've seen his name before and I never put two and together. And then working with him, I was like, hey, do you have presets and such? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's really cool.
I've
That's-
used one or two.
That's the dream. You meet someone that has presets named after them.
Yeah, but so they just cover a wide variety of topics. But they did a couple episodes about the more like business side of things and like how to negotiate like rates
that's
and
awesome.
stuff. And they didn't give out their numbers. Obviously,
Yeah,
they were like,
'cause-
if this was, they were very clear. Like the one guy said, like if it was just me and him talking, like I would absolutely throw out the number that I got offered because he's in my level and we get paid in the same ballpark.
Yeah, I want to make sure that someone's not
So-
getting screwed over, or that I shouldn't be charging more. I think that's
Yeah.
really important, is to act like if you have like a circle of people that you at the same level with, you should totally talk about what you're charging, because you might be able to find out like, oh shit, I'm undercharging and I'm getting screwed.
And it fucks everybody over.
Yeah, because then it's like, yeah, exactly. I think
forget-
pay should always be very open talk. I mean, yeah, if you're a fucking top dog and you're talking to someone that you know is not going to be anywhere close, be like, well, yeah, I think you should charge this. If you're charging $1,000 for a mix for one song, and you're talking to some local guy, it's like, you can't charge $1,000 for a song. I wish I could.
Sometimes I feel like I'm lucky to negotiate people up into like triple digits for a mix.
Wait, you're gonna pay me, dude? I was blown away that we got paid for that show.
I did, yeah. Matt came back and he was like,
yeah, we got paid like not a great amount, but like we got paid. So I was just like, I fully expected this show was just, hey, we get to open up for a national headliner, and all we have to do is just like show up and kick ass and like,
I feel like you guys were the best band on that bill.
Oh, thank you. I hope that none of the other people that were. I'm just kidding. No, I thought it was a great show. It was fun.
I mean, maybe it's just because I know your material, and it's just like I know what your songs are supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
So even through an unideal like
Yeah.
sound situation,
You mean having the amps right in front of the bar and then having them reflect off of the mirrors and off of all? Oh yeah, that was great.
do you ever playing in front of the PA?
Oh God, I know. It was so weird hearing my voice come from behind me.
yeah.
I was like, "This is really trippy."
Yeah, did you ever notice that like sound like your auditory senses and some of your feeling senses are the only things that are like 3D?
Uh-huh.
They talked about this on the podcast that I've been binging, where they're just like, you can feel something behind you when it's close, but you can hear something behind you when it's far away. Like you can't see behind you, you can't really smell anything behind you from a distance, and you fucking can't taste anything behind you.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
I would just rub my butt on everything. Ooh, this tastes weird.
Yeah, so that was probably strange. No, but
That was probably strange.
yeah, I've never played in front of the PA before.
Oh, it was...
I've had to mix side stages where we've decided to just run everything through the PA.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
Well, it was weird because the only thing that was going through the PA were the tracks and the vocals. I think also the bass. The bass was going through the PA as well.
There is definitely kick drum in that PA.
Oh, okay,
that
that's it.
pop where you went over to your bass cab afterwards, that was Andy's kick drum.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, and it's funny because I you brought that up and I didn't even hear the pop. I just could not hear the bass at all. So I was just like, I don't give a shit. I can't hear it. And I knew for the next two songs I need to hear the bass. Like I could play without it, but like I would like to know it's there.
Yeah.
So I turned it up and then I heard videos and I was like, whoa, they had that cranking through the PA. Yeah. I was like, that's why I couldn't hear it, because it was in the PA, not on the stage.
Yeah. Bass was hot.
Hot.
Yeah, there was some interesting drum mic techniques that night. It was just like, I don't often say, it was very avant-garde,
Well, because the guy that was running the sound was not a sound guy at all. It was one of those dudes where his buddy had lent him all that shit. It was... never mind. I can't say what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Just on the off chance. Yeah. They're good people.
Yeah, it's not like
they're good people. I don't know. There's a lot of times I feel like people will just get their friends to do shit that their friends really don't know what they're doing, and it's kind of like, hey, if you care about your business, it's like,
yeah, I'm not shit talking as much as it probably comes off of. It's just one of those where that's my job to like make sure these things are in order. So it really irritates me when.
So I'll say this.
Someone's driving the Pinto.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think because of where I'm at now with my studio and what I'm trying to do, I had a really good conversation a couple weeks ago with Suli, friend,
shout out, Marshall
client, fellow musician. And I mean, one of the things that he talked to me about too, at a certain point after I'd done a record with them, and I'd been working with some other clients,
EP or two. Right?
Yeah, he was like, "You need to charge more," and he was like, because he's got his own business. He does fitness training and a bunch of other stuff and security. He does. I mean, he is a completely self-employed for the most part. I mean, sure, he might get contracted for stuff, but for the most part, he is a freelance guy. So he decides what he wants to make. But it was really interesting. I was like, if you charge more, that automatically
it puts you in the level of that.
It puts you in a level of like, oh, this is legitimate. This is serious. People will take you more seriously if you charge more. Now, obviously, there's a threshold where like you can't be like, oh, hey, I'm recording out of my parents' basement and I'm going to charge $10,000 to do your album.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It depends. I mean, if you're putting out great shit and you've got some like rep behind you where it's like, oh, I've already done these great records, then sure, maybe you could pull that off. It doesn't matter where you do it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where you're recording. You could be recording in a basement. You could be recording in your church's parking lot. If you're putting out good shit, you're putting out good shit. It's really just a matter of your reputation. I think that's your skill level and reputation doesn't matter where you're at. Like if you're recording in your bedroom, but you're putting out amazing shit, screw it, man. People should pay for that. But he had a really good point about that. But then we also that was a really awesome conversation. And then another one I had with him, which ties into this whole hiring live sound engineer. If you've got a business and you're trying to grow it and you're trying to push, spend the money to hire other people that are good at what they do. If you need someone to create a website for you, so for example, a mix engineer. You're trying to be a mix engineer, studio engineer. You're not trying to be a web developer. Pay someone who knows what they're doing to develop a website for you because it's most likely 90% of the time going to be a million times better than what you could do for yourself. Sure, you could figure out how to do JavaScript and HTML and use a website builder, but one, it's going to take you more time. It's going to take you away from what you should be doing, which is getting clients and getting better at your skills. And at the same time too, it's also hiring other people's networking. And it makes you more legitimate. It makes your business a lot more professional when you hire other professionals to work with you. And so that ties in. It's like if you are a venue or you are a promotion company or a tour, I feel like a lot of times people just hire their friends or bring their friends because they get a cheap deal or they don't have to pay them at all. Or it's like, I think sometimes it's okay to hire your friends if they're good at what they do, and you're like, "Hey, I want to cut you a break. I want to give you an opportunity." Like, there's like what we talk about, like where it's like if Marzy ever gets like a legit tour, I want to hire you, and it's not like I'm doing you a favor. It's like, no, I legitimately think you're a great sound guy, and it's also like, yeah, sure, if I get a tour, if we get some big promotion and we work with a record label, sure, I could probably have the pick of the litter, but it's like I would rather work with you because I know you, I know you're good, and I would like to bring you into that fold.
It's that thing that I talk about with instruments where I always call it like the threshold of acceptability.
Yeah.
Like, because I am at the point where most of my friend circle are steady people either on the tech side of things or like on the playing side of things. So
they're all professionals in the music business.
I don't really have a lot of, and it's a good problem to have where it's just like, if I need to put on an independent show or something, I can call 6 people and I can get probably some lights, a couple mic stands, and some speakers or something, and we could do it, for probably a discounted cost because you help your friends out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this one was a little.
This was definitely. I just called my buddy who I knew I had shit. Like, it's like, dude, this is a legit show that like could take your business further if you present it well.
Yeah, and oh, Ricky's got the Shure PGA kit. Yeah. Like.
It's like, sure, borrow it from Ricky, but then hire a legit guy to run the shit. And that's how I felt about that touring package, too, is it was just like you could have sat down on that Mackie and you could have mixed that shit and not had an issue. Yeah, in your head, you would have been like, fuck, I wish I had an M32 or whatever.
Because I even said that, like, I feel like they had a bus they play bigger acts than what. Like, it was cool to see the show because you're never really going to see that person play in that venue.
Yeah, it was like it was a little odd.
It was a little jarring.
I mean, it wasn't surprising though with how many people there were there because it was like, it was really funny. We like I talked to the other bands about this and like, I think there were maybe 120, 130 people there. I think at least 100 of those people were only there to see the opening acts, and then they just stuck around to see the headliner because it's like, oh, why not? Yeah, you. Because I talked to so many people, and they all go, hey, who is insert national act's name? Never heard of this person. I'm like, wait, what? You didn't come to see them? They're like, no, I came to see, Aluka or Half Heard Voices, like who are, shout out, all fucking great bands, all great guys. I didn't get to talk to Aluka guys much, but they were killer. I thought it was such a funny, weird show because
that dude's snakeskin jacket was.
Oh, that was so awesome. The 3 opening bands was a great, great little show. Like all 3 of the opening bands were like such a good fit for each other. They were just different enough.
Yeah.
But then the national headliner was like, oh yeah, you couldn't find any local bands that fit this, so we kind of had to jimmy a show together. And so it was just really.
It was just like, they're all metal.
Yeah, and I guess the headliner was metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like the sound guy was like. He seemed like a guy that didn't start off the way that like you and me did, where it's like, oh hey, I started off running, maybe like an 8-channel mixer at some shitty bar in DC.
Yeah.
And then I got picked up by a production company and I started working on more. This seemed just kind of like I'm a friend or I know somebody
I've been around DIY shows.
I've been around. I know what to do. And so then when he gets confronted with a problem that shouldn't really be a problem, to be like, yeah, okay, great. I don't have a bunch of my nice effects and my digital routing, but like. Dude, you or me could easily go up to any analog console and be like, cool, I can figure this out. This is shouldn't be major. Be basic, but, it was just...
I mean, I looked that console up, and I'm pretty sure it has, like, an onboard effect. So you could at least, like, you could have some, like, super dirty, crush-sounding reverb or delay on the vocal, which could be cool.
Now I'll give this guy...
It probably doesn't have a tap tempo.
No way. Absolutely not. But it's like, for that show, you didn't need 24 channels. Like, for that show in that room. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there was some other issue that was happening with the board that we didn't know about. Maybe it wasn't just that he didn't know how to use it. But it did seem like the way
the way that board looked, there was definitely problems with it.
Yeah.
But it was also, like, my whole point is I just felt like that act was at the level where they could have been self-contained and it couldn't have been an issue.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, that level of act, like, they're not going to take out, like, a Digico Q7 or...
But like, it would have been less than $1,000 to get, like, a Behringer X18 or the name a company's one. And... with a fucking iPad, and you'd be even better off because then you could walk around the venue. Yeah. You'd have more flexibility because you wouldn't be stuck at side stage mixing in front of the bar.
On the outside of a point source speaker. Not even, I mean, the stacks that they had in there are maybe 35 degrees. Like,
I'm just glad that they weren't, because remember years ago when we did that show that you ran sound for, and remember one of the subs was blown, and so it was just farting the entire. I was glad to see that they got that fixed.
Yeah, that's
they
good.
Didn't have the blown speakers in there anymore.
Yeah, it was just very like like tom mics were on the underside of the tom, which is fine. They're out of the way. It's a metal gig. There's low cymbals, but like they weren't pointed at the drum head. They were all like parallel to the drum head, like miking the side of the snare. And I don't really think you needed to like run drums through the system, but then there was like clever workarounds where like, I'm going to put up a kick mic because there's subs and people are going to want to hear it. I'm going to put a snare mic up. I'm probably not going to run it through the system, but I am going to send it to a reverb.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, hey, I have a question for you live on air. Do you want to run sound for us in a donut shop?
Possibly. When is it?
It hasn't been booked yet. Part of the issue is that the venue is not a venue; it's a donut shop. But they've been trying to run shows, but they don't have like an in-house sound system. And the last show that was run there, we were talking to our buddies. They're like, "Yeah, we would do it again, but we would require that there be a sound system because apparently it was literally just one monitor on a pole. That was it. That was it." But I was like, what I was thinking too at the same time was like, honestly, running sound in there would literally just be getting the vocals louder than the instruments. That's the extent of it.
Yeah,
so,
it would be like
But actually, there's a party happening this summer where a bunch of local bands are playing, and they might need a sound guy. So I'll see about.
That would be cool.
Yeah. You bring in like the whole fucking van load, and they're like, "Whoa, we can't afford all this." Like, sorry, I'm already here, guys.
Yeah. I've been up early. My back hurts. Pay me my money.
Pay me my money
in cash.
Yeah. What's the thing?
So what is the 4 things Chuck Berry said before, or what did Chuck Berry say every night before counting 1, 2, 3, 4 on stage? Pay me my money.
Pay me my money
in cash. In cash. Yeah, I mean, I had fun. It was motivating. But I just, like I said, not that it's like a fancy pants console, but like I even thought about it. It was like, you can get an Allen and Heath like QU32 or whatever for they're under $2,000.
Yeah.
And it's not like I've mixed a lot of shows on it. It's a convenient console. You can't really do anything like super fancy pants with it. But I don't know, it's just like one of those like I would carry that as a backup just cuz like you walk into that situation where it's like,
you're like not worth it. I mean, they had their own board for monitors or whatever the hell they were doing on the side. Maybe it wasn't monitors. I don't know what the board was that they had up there. Maybe they run all their tracks to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
They already had like a board and a setup like on side stage, so it's like
strange,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really weird setup. Yeah, I definitely I
would have loved to have been a fly on the wall as a tech person.
When my favorite part of the night though was when the keyboard player started singing. Oh, that was you might have missed that part, but they did a song where the keyboard player sang, and it was definitely like, oh, man, you guys are just trying to fill time, aren't you? Or when the best part. The
drum solo to other people's songs.
I have never heard this in my life, but the drummer, the whole band leaves the stage, and it's just the drummer. Now you think, oh, cool, he's going to do like a drum solo. Maybe like what Danny Carey did at Tool, where he gets the analog synths out and he starts creating like a live analog synth beat and then does like a drum solo doing polyrhythms to it. Coolest fucking drum solo I've ever seen. What does this guy do? He literally starts putting on famous songs and just drumming along to them.
Yeah.
As like the intermission.
Yeah, Corey's like, that one thing was cool. I was like, that's a Gojira song.
That
is...
I think like a Breaking Benjamin song came on
like,
too. Or
I forget. Oh, it's off one at like the Link, and it's this like super rhythmic thing where like every 4 bars there's a different subdivision and pattern played of this.
But what was so bad was that they still had the drum tracks in the original song, and so anytime that he got off, it was clear as day.
Flaming.
It was just like, why we got the keyboard player singing who was not a singer. And then we have the drummer drumming along
to just
his song.
Stevie's iPod got plugged in, and he was just like,
Yeah, it was like the band wasn't bad. It was like not my thing, but it was like okay, cool. But then those two things just went. What?
Did we get trolled? Were they just like? Were they just like? It's not worth loading in our fancy pants gear. Like just set up
like,
and
fuck it.
Just whatever.
Yeah, they showed up to the venue and they're like, "Wait, this is where you booked us." Somebody's tour manager got fired that night.
It was mildly. Like I don't think anyone who's not on our side of things was probably like, it was a fun show, and you get like, how many times are you gonna get to see national act in tiny local bar?
A lot of times, every other weekend. It happens all the time there, and it's always this.
Oh, really?
It is. It's always.
Hey, venue with insert national act that just played there.
Now I will say,
I'll consult.
Now this is like obviously biased, but like my buddy's band, they're on Sumerian Records, and I remember they're now doing like headlining tours all across like the world and shit like that. Big ass stages. Mm-hmm. They just released their new album. But I saw them at 611. That was when they were like at that mid tier where like they were doing bigger venues, but they were opening.
Yeah.
So then their headliners was venues like 611, like that kind of like 300 cap room, and they fucking killed it in there. I'd never heard. I mean, it was way too loud for that.
I feel like if you could get a cool show, like if there was a show done there properly, it would be awesome.
Yeah, like they were killer there. I'll just give them a shout. Bad Omens, like my buddy Nick plays drums for them, and it was like they ripped that place apart. It was one of those shows where you're like, this band needs to be doing bigger venues. Yeah. Whereas I felt like the band that we just saw, it was definitely like I wouldn't want to see them in a bigger venue. I really wouldn't want to see them again.
I will be seeing them at a very big venue.
Oh yeah, it was just I don't know. I feel like great bands can play small venues, and you just go, holy shit, it's great no matter what. You can wish that, oh man, I wish they were in a bigger venue or this and that, but regardless, it just rips your face off. Whereas this was just like, we're drumming along to an iPod. I don't know. I feel like that's all
if
we
it was
needed
like
to say.
Secret Show, like Foo Fighters are playing there.
Mhm.
They're not promoting it, but they're there.
Yeah.
And we went. We'd be like, that was awesome.
Because they're going to be great no matter what. But it's
Yeah.
like, I feel like we could just cap off this conversation by saying the drummer drummed to his iPod.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not talking about backtracks. I'm talking about drummed along to, like you said, Stevie's playlist.
Pick. That would be like, we wanted to promote our podcast in a Nick show. So I just put on our playlist during a set break, and I'm just up there just like grooving along.
I've never seen that before in my life. My buddy came running out, like, hammered. Bro, this fucking dude's drumming along to his iPod. What the hell is this?
I remember that.
He was tanked.
Because we were outside.
Oh, my God. Yeah, like, I don't want to talk bad about the band because, like, but it's just like that just blew my fucking brain. I was like, I was like, oh, are they done? I'm hearing these famous songs
like
kick
how,
onto the
like,
PA,
wow.
but I'm like, wait, why are there
They
live
played for
drums?
25 minutes. Oh, yeah, it was. I'm excited to see it at an event where there's
I
going
hope
to
they
be
do that.
a dedicated.
Let me know if they do that again. Like, let me know. Like, if they put on the iPod again, and it's just like, oh, name a hard rock track from 2000 to 2010, and it's just in the playlist.
So we talked all this trash. I will give them the benefit of the doubt that they walked in and were just like, nope, yep, we're half-assing it today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish more bands that were. Now I don't want to use this word, but I'm just gonna call it like lackluster. They're a good band. They got their thing. If you like them, that's awesome. It's not my thing. I find it just kind of like, yeah, I feel like a lot of people do this shit. I mean, you can say about my band. I don't give a fuck. But, like, I'll take criticism. But what I will say about them is that they did pull out these things that, although, in my opinion, were fucking silly as shit, it's memorable. And I will never forget that.
Yeah,
I wish more average bands would do that. Like, they're just like, you know what? Our songs are kind of ripping off a bunch of other people, and we don't really have anything unique. But here's what we're going to do. And then just pull out something stupid, like drumming along to other people's songs live.
Is this Feed My Frankenstein by Alice Cooper? Yeah, it is. I've seen Wayne's World.
Like, just do more shit like that, and at least it'll be memorable.
Yeah, I guess. It was strange. Yeah, it was.
Oh, man.
I don't have a negative. There was just. I'm not even talking. Like, I'm not trash. I'm so confused by it. Is I think why it was where I'm at with it.
Could you imagine if like the whole band?
It wasn't like when we saw Tool and I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like, I have all of my motivation for audio and live sound, like the drive and the passion's back. Like, let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like some opening bands that we've sat through where we're just like, you shouldn't be on that stage.
I would rather be dead.
You should be playing that stage with the venue that we just went to.
Yeah.
But it was just, there was so many whys.
Just,
how? Who? Why?
that was that. Yeah, that's the description. It's like, okay, you guys don't suck. That's not what this is. This is just, why were these decisions made?
Yeah, that would be like, we went to a Benihana's and we ordered something off the menu and they're like, here's your Big Mac.
And you're
like, why? They're like, but we put soy sauce on it, so it's Asian. Like, it's not how that works. It was just a whole night of that's not how that works.
Yeah, I felt like I was eating a Big Mac at a Benihana's.
Yeah. Like,
T-shirt idea.
Big Mac at a bit.
I feel like we probably can't do that. Those are two probably trademarked things.
Yeah, I can't even say it.
Yeah, ding. Demonetized.
I have pants getting delivered today because all of my jeans have ripped just from wearing them on gigs, and there's now a cease and desist from McDonald's and Benihana's. Just like, here you go.
There you
All
go.
right.
Like, wow, they're quick at that shit.
Wow, we did not talk. We are not on topic at all.
Oh well, I think this is fun talking about this shit. I feel like we should probably vote. We'll create a poll. No, we won't create a poll. Maybe we'll create a poll. I feel like we should definitely start splitting up our episodes kind of like this. Where
Yeah.
fortunately, one of the things I'm gonna be trying to do more is like going out more because I just stay at home
Yeah.
unless I'm working, and so it's like I want to try to go out more because I feel like one, you network that way. Like,
Yeah.
that's like great for networking, even if you're like, God,
It's also
this
hard
sucks."
to want to go out because you're just like, man, I've been around like a loud PA all week during shows. So
Now I'm gonna go do it again.
I don't.
Yeah,
It's not that I don't want to go out, but I do understand that I have to be in hearing protection mode like as often as possible. So
it's tough. We're in that like middle stage now where it's like we do enough stuff in the industry where we're around it all the time that it's like, I'm too beat to then want to go do that in my free time. But like we're still at that level where we should be doing that because we still need to network more.
Yeah,
it's this weird point where you're not.
It was weird. Not to cut you off, but like saw Tool and that was really motivating. That like totally like relit the fire. Because I just have I have a lot of events that I've said where it's like I listen to all these podcasts with like the big dogs, and they're like, yeah, this isn't the music that I want to like that I like grew up like this is what I'm gonna mix for the most part, but they're like just like the crew's good and everything's on point, and I was just like they just seem like they're not in their wheelhouse, but they're so happy, and there's like a lot of my events for my level of where I'm at in the career, a lot of it just seems cash grabby and like inauthentic. Because, like, as much as we, like, there was a lot of suspect technical approaches to the show that we went to, that was still way cooler to just see bands on stage or the floor do their thing, where it's just, like, I've seen, like, events that, like, I've looked up ticket prices that people are spending, like, $65 to, like, see this event, and every musician on stage is just, like, looking at their sheet music.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you build this as a rock and roll Christmas, and you're reading, and that's not rock and roll.
It's not. No, there's nothing wrong with reading music on stage if it's jazz or, well, actually, no, jazz, you'd be scolded for that. If it's like a symphony,
yeah,
sure,
like that makes sense. You know, you see,
like okay, that's how those people do
that's
it.
complex and like
but rock and roll, no
like,
fucking way.
Your violin's playing something different than their violin, but together it makes this like.
My mom.
Like, I understand for like a symphony or an orchestra that makes sense because you're playing a 25-minute piece.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
there's all kinds of cues that you remember. My mom was telling me this great story about when she joined her first band when she was like 17. She was a keyboard player, and she grew up playing like classically trained stuff like that. So she was very used to doing orchestra, all yada 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 stuff where you read music. And the time she joined her first band, she showed up to practice with sheet music for stuff, and the guys were like, "What the fuck are you doing? This is rock and roll."
Yeah.
Like, they were like, "You do not have music on stage with you." My mom was like, "What?" And she was like, "It was really weird to learn how to like memorize stuff because a lot." And
I mean,
I've got students like that actually. Where
I have a notebook of cheat stuff, like because sometimes we're playing 4-hour gigs.
Yeah, and it's
like,
oh wait,
like,
what was the chord progression for that one?
This song goes verse, chorus, verse, bridge, chorus, verse, chorus. Okay, yep, I remember.
And then the other thing too is like I think when you play with a lot of bands, it's like we play with a lot of different stuff for hire. You're like, oh, what? I got to remember that. Like like certain songs. Like I know Nick has one song where there's like 3 different key changes, and I'm like, and it's like always like they're so quick, and like I got to fucking remember that.
Yeah.
And then I don't always play the root note, so I'm like, oh shit, wait, I'm doing the 5th there. What is that? Lots of little weird things. I think there's like only 2 songs that I have to still kind of sometimes look at the music for because I'm like, wait, what was that key change again?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just so I and then like I had some car troubles this week.
Ooh. Did you get stuck on the hill again?
No, I was driving home from work on the day after I came to see you guys play, and when I was braking, it just sounded like there was a piece of metal like being drug under my car.
Ooh,
so
fun.
I think what happened is like the part of the brake that squeezes the pad to the rotor of your wheel, if it gets stuck and it just wears through your brake pad, so then it's just metal on metal.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And then I was like, this sucks. And then I was like, this event that I'm working sucks. My pay sucks. Like, I got to figure it out. So I have that now motivation too, where it's just like, I don't want to be trapped as the local grumpy sound guy. I mean, I make the joke that I'm the grumpy sound guy, and
No,
I
you
have
are.
my like agitated moments.
My favorite thing is from that episode a week ago. Adam, do you even like doing this?
I actually do. Well, the problem is that I was thinking about it is just like there's acts that play at things that we play at where I'm so excited to mix them because they're actually like fun and like mixable. But I just feel like there's so much stuff, and I want the education side of this podcast. I just want to get to the point where like I like supporting the local scene, but there's a lot of stuff where it's just like I can't. Like I get so excited to mix because it's my favorite thing to do, and then there's
You get stuck with acts where you don't get to mix. You
like
just have
there's
to problem solve the whole
literally
time.
no mixing. Like
It's like trying to fucking pull a plane out of a tailspin. You're like, oh, this is
Yeah.
fun. Then not at all.
so that like it sounds fancy. It's a fancy way for being an asshole, but it's just like artistic disappointment.
Artistic disappointment. I like that.
It's just like I don't know another metaphor, but just like
Yeah.
I get so excited to go to work and do these things, and then it's just like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I guess no matter what I do, this isn't going to go well.
That's why you got to get back in the studio more. You got more control over that shit.
I like live more, I think, though.
Well,
Like,
that's fair enough.
I just,
Well, then you should spend all of your time promoting my band so that we can get famous and we can hire you.
that would be fair. But yeah, no, I
Anybody want to put us on tour?
I
We got a sound guy. He
put
can run for both of
my-
us.
yeah, I would do a small tour where I just mixed all the bands.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem doing that. I mean, I understand. I would like to get to the point where it's just like I have been mixing live for 20 years. I'm mixing my act. Like,
Yeah.
they're getting my fresh ears for the day. But sometimes I'm mixing like 12-hour festivals, so I don't
Yeah,
think-
I can't do that. That's rough.
I mean, I'm
I
wearing.
did that a couple times and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about like I think I like the instant gratification of like I can push up a guitar solo and I can see people be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like
Yeah.
Steve's ripping it.
No, it's like live mixing is like it's a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like in the studio, it's not really a performance.
I have
It's
too
a-
many options in the studio where I get in the like mental tailspin of just like
Yeah.
I could do this or I could do this or I could do this.
And
where
you've
it's
got the time to do that because
Yeah.
you can be like, well, I'll come back to this, and then I'll go down another rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Whereas live, it's like, oh no, this is happening right now.
like
I
this
have
guitar
to-
solo needs to cut 1.5K up
right now.
and down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I do genuinely love all of the. There was even someone at the theater like we were breaking down. I went ham on the first show after the Tool concert that we had.
Mhm.
It was just a college jazz band playing, and I was just like, we're getting monitors, like we're double making shit, like I'm routing the console in a fancy pants way, like we are like there's gonna be parallel groups and all this
And
stuff.
I think the thing about live mixing that's like really fun, and I think that should be translated. And it's one of the things I'm trying to translate to my studio mixing is live mixing. You have to mix by instinct because
Yeah.
it's like it's happening right then and there. You can't think and go, well, what if I did this or what if I did this? It's like no, you just have to reach and start doing
can't
stuff
grab
because it's
my-
happening.
Yeah, and it could come back. I could catch the studio wave again, and I feel like I could be faster.
Yeah,
Because even with like setting up for Nick's album, I just had the time to like second guess things.
yeah.
Or it's just like, I want to put up 2 snare mics.
And it's like
And
now you
now
just
I'm
got
only end
fucking
up using 1. And I was like, oh, I could use this. And I said, I'm like, I'm going to borrow 414s from the theater for room mics. I'm not even using them in the mix, really.
Are you not?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say how you liking them. Yeah, not even using them.
Yeah, I just think for the drum sound that I'm going for, like most of it, honestly, is that microphone that's under my desk.
I love how we're breaking the fourth wall when we're
Yeah.
not actually. We're,
Yeah,
we're
there's
pointing
a-
at the drums. that
Where
are-
my camera is in the room, there's a microphone like right under it on a different stand, and that is 60% of the drum sound.
Nice.
Like, and I just threw that one up at the end. And was like,
What are you
"This-
doing with the SE mic there?
It's just a kit back mic, just kind of mic in the beater.
Nice. I dig
Um,
that. I bet you that like kind of picks up the tom in a really cool way.
No, the rejection on that microphone is stupid.
Oh wow! I always figured it would pick up the floor tom a little bit. Where
No,
it's pointed.
it's
Huh.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out SE. I feel like I talk about them every episode. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, I want to get, I just kind of did the mental math. I was like, well, if I do bigger events, they're probably bigger and more seasoned bands
Yeah.
or acts. So
Hopefully.
yeah, so things should be mixable. So
Yeah.
yeah,
You should see about trying to get on the Blue Ridge Festival. I don't know how you go about doing that.
Yeah.
Because that festival was huge last year, and apparently it didn't completely implode upon itself. There were issues, but they're doing it again this year.
And there's always issues.
Yeah, there's
with
always
any
issues.
live festival.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works with those major festivals. How does it work with major festivals like that, where every band on there is like a legitimate act? How does the sound work for that? Do they everybody have their own sound guy, or is they kind of agreed upon?
Yes, sort of. I mean, if you're a touring act, you have your own crew. Like everything's in house.
So how does that work for these festivals? These bands are playing 25-minute sets, but they're all massive bands.
Console sharing.
Console sharing.
Yeah, there's probably. I mean, I've never done a festival to that degree on any aspect of it, but from what I've heard and read is what I would imagine is that touring acts, if they're not carrying their own console in their rider, they have 5 to 10 consoles that are acceptable.
Yeah.
So, and then like there's your standards, for bigger live events, like, like your Avid, like the venue profile, or which is now probably being replaced by like the S6L or whatever. Like you're gonna see those. Like,
Okay.
you're not gonna show up to it's whatever PA the local company like stage provides. It's not like. I mean, it's stuff that's like blowing our QSC line arrays like out of the water.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
it's gonna
festival's
be
huge.
a D&B or an L Acoustics or a Meyer, like one of those three probably. I mean, maybe it might be a JBL Vertec rig or something. I think that's what's in Ram.
So everyone's sharing the same gear. It's just then
Yeah.
they're swapping out the guys that are running it.
Yeah, so you just kind of go up and, you have probably a scene for that. Or if you don't have a front of house guy, you just get the guy from the company who's
there for the day.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Or if
crazy.
You've toured with, if you're band 4 and you've toured with band 2 once, you could probably be like, hey, we're going to be on this festival. Do you think
Yeah, we just share the same guy.
Do you think, Tony would mix us or whatever?
It's just crazy. Some of these festivals that I see, like with this Blue Ridge Festival, just like the logistics of them are just like absolutely fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
Just like, I know what it's like trying to do fucking 5 bands on like a local show. And I'm just like, I can't imagine all these major bands or all these bands. Like, you gotta imagine some of these bands have like ego about like, hey, we need our shit. We need this, where it's like nobody's sharing shit on some of these things. Like,
yeah, but with the local show, there's never like a tech there.
Yeah.
Like it's just the bands are in charge of themselves.
yeah, and it's like,
Where it's just like you gotta, the average crew is there's either a bus with 12 people in it, or there's the band bus and the crew bus, which means you can have more crew. And for the most part, I found that crew people are a little bit more likely to work together than like local bands are. It's weird. You
absolutely.
know what I mean?
Well, because with the crew, they're the crew. They're not the bands.
Yeah.
The bands aren't doing anything at these festivals.
And that's
They're
not a
probably
knock on it, but
setting
like we've played enough. Like the dudes that came out to the show that you were at all seemed like rock solid dudes. Like changeovers were actually pretty quick on that.
up. Yeah.
But like we've played some ego fest shitty bar shows where no one's helping anybody.
Oh yeah. Everyone at this show was all the local bands. We all knew each other, and everyone was very, very helpful with getting shit on and off stage and not dicking each other over.
Yeah, so there's big fests. Like there's a backline crew that's probably providing stuff for all the opening acts and stuff, and then when the headliners come on, their crew's just in house. There's 12 dudes or ladies back there building stuff and getting it on stage in between changeovers. So
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my guess. I don't think I could be completely wrong, but from an educated standpoint, there's probably 20 people there from the production company that's providing the PA system and house console alone, and then probably 8 backline people.
Wow.
So
The more you know.
yeah,
Well, so
organization is key.
So what do we want to do today? Do we want to kind of end it here? Do we want to then do like a longer episode?
Do you want to end? We'll just end this catch-up episode with
Yeah.
a random playlist, and then you want to do it? You feeling another one? I feel like I could actually talk about something.
Yeah, I don't know.
worthwhile
Let's cut it here, and then we'll.
Now that I've got my crankiness.
So yeah, this was
It's a good catch-up episode.
Yeah, so we'll kind of copy paste. We'll like cut this over here. So this was episode 11.
Do you want to do playlists for this?
Yeah, let's do.
Just whatever you're
Yeah,
feeling.
there's got to be a playlist. Yeah, there's always got to be a playlist. Yeah, I'll pull up what. So what have I got? So what have I been listening to? I've been listening to song 1 for me. Sons of Gotham by Talib Kweli off of his 2021 album,
I'm
Gotham.
pretty sure he's a cornerback for the Patriots or something.
Really?
There's,
Is there a guy named Talib Kweli? That's a really
It's-
unique name.
I think it's like reversed. I think it's Akib
Kweli.
Tali.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's wild. Yeah, no, I would love Talib Kweli. He's a great rapper.
I have jokes. I'm hilarious.
You got to pick. You want me to keep going?
I went on a hardcore kick the
Mhm.
other week, and I was like, ooh, I haven't listened to Norma Jean in a while.
Ooh, nice.
So my first pick is The Entire World Is Counting on Me, and They Don't Even Know It.
Oh,
I
I
think
like
that's
it.
the name of the song.
That's a good one.
It's the first track off of Bless the Martyr and Kiss the Child.
Ooh,
It's a good.
hell yeah. Did you
right.
see that Turnstile was on SNL?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was wild.
They've been.
I'm not a huge
on-
fan of them, but like that's pretty cool.
I love that album. I think their newest album is
Yeah, Glow
just
On.
phenomenal.
I just don't get it. It's just not my thing. But
That's fair.
I respect that. Hey, we got a fucking hardcore band on SNL. That's pretty cool. Bring back rock and roll.
They're from Baltimore too. Like they're
Oh yeah, they
they're
are.
our.
That
They
that's it.
played Soundstage for like their record release party,
Mhm.
and I almost went, and I didn't go, and I
Aw,
forever
I bet
regret
that was
not
probably
going.
fucking
Oh,
nuts.
Hate 5-6 filmed it, and I was just like, oh my god, I should have gone to that.
I bet
like
it was fucking insane.
it was ridiculous.
I always forget that they're from Baltimore.
Yeah,
My second one, Here Comes the Hot Stepper by Ini Kamoze. I
don't
don't know how to say his name.
even know what. That
That's a great
means.
song. You're gonna love this. When you put this on the playlist, you're gonna listen to it like, okay, here comes the hot step. It's a great
Alright.
song. It's
Sweet.
another like hip hop pop jam from the '90s.
Feeling it.
It's great. It's a good song.
Meshuggah released a song the other day called "Light the Shortening Fuse," and it's awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were doing the new album coming out,
Yeah,
right?
April or something.
April. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Josh was on last episodes, and I was like, I picked the other Meshuggah song. He's
Mhm.
like, I don't know who that is. I was like, you don't know
What?
who
His number
Meshuggah is?
Meshuggah is?
He's like, I don't listen to heavy stuff. He's like, I'll go in with an open mind, and I was like, it's disgustingly heavy.
Yeah, it's.
Like,
I haven't listened to new stuff yet, but I'm excited.
it's awesome. It sounds like Meshuggah, but it's still different
Mm-hmm.
than other stuff. It almost feels like a flashback to some of the earlier stuff,
Oh, that's cool.
but it's not like this. Like, you can tell it's not like a. Well, that worked, so we'll try this
Yeah, I
again.
was gonna
It was just that
recycle it.
like, hey, like remember when we were like.
Kind of getting back to the roots, not
Yeah.
rehashing stuff, but kind of being like, oh man, yeah, we were doing some cool shit. Let's kind of try to.
I feel that way about the newest Tool album, where it's a little simpler,
Mm-hmm.
but it's got that it's that mature simplicity.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
but
I
it's
think
still
cool.
Tool and Meshuggah, so it's fucking complex. But it's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm just gonna do a ridiculous polyrhythm drum fill here.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
it's
just
not-
gonna let this part breathe
Yeah,
as well as a fast-paced, heavy.
it's becoming
Meshuggah song.
matured.
Yeah.
My next one is definitely not a complex metal song. The new Florence and the Machine single, King.
All right.
Big fan of that. I have a love-hate with that band. Sometimes I really like them. Other times I'm like, God, this is douchey. But I like this song.
Nice. Man, I could go a completely different direction. You know, I haven't thrown any hip hop on the playlist, so I think I've been jamming out to Prof a lot recently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. There's so many good songs. I'm gonna go. Bar Breaker by Prof. That's my jam.
Yeah.
On my birthday, Corey's like, "It's your birthday. You can pick songs," and I was like, "We're listening to Prof on the way
We're
down to the
listening
brewery."
Prof.
And she's like, I like that it's obscene, but it's not like degrading or offensive. And I was like, it's a little bit of both, but
It's a little bit. For me, shit, I don't know which one to pick. I'm just gonna pick the first track off of Armor for Sleep's album, "What to Do When You're Dead." Car Underwater. Great album, great band.
Nice.
Early 2000s emo pop metal kind of thing, but kind of in the vein of like Silverstein. If you don't know Armor for Sleep,
yeah.
they're great. I loved them. I grew up listening to them, and I started really listening to that album, Car Underwater.
I'll go. You know what? I saw Marzy Maddox the other.
Fuck those
I
guys.
saw them the other day, so we're gonna go with Brand New Day. And if you dive deep on my Instagram, there's a video of me listening to it the day it came out, and I
That
think
was
I
great.
titled it "Listening to Brand New Marzy Maddox song Brand New Day in my very used car," a car that I currently don't have because it's getting fixed. So
Because
I'm
the
gonna pick-
brakes were trying to destroy
I'm
the
gonna-
wheels.
yeah, I drove it to the mechanic yesterday, and it just like it progressively got
Did he give you the
worse.
whole like, how did you even get this here kind of conversation? I've had those before with my old car.
No, I think it was just one of those where like it's a I looked up to what it is, like roughly to what I think it is, and then I went into work the next day and someone's like, "Oh, I've had that happen to like 3 cars. Like it sucks. It should be hopefully an easy fix." But then I'm also like, while it's in here, you should just poke everything and see what like just like
mess around.
ideally I would like to keep it under X amount of work. So if there's
stuff that doesn't have to be fixed right now. Yeah.
Yeah, if this is one of those where like this is like a 4-month problem, be like, great, I'll have some big money gigs back.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a good time to have something go wrong because I don't have a lot going on through the end of next week.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I have the time for my car not to work, but it's also just like, we've been in between gigs for a while.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
yeah.
Right.
So
I'm gonna cap mine off with "Serve the Servants" by Nirvana. I brought the first thing I said to you when we got here was like, dude, the in utero drum sound is fucking awesome. So first track off in utero, "Serve the Servants," Nirvana.
Sweet. We're gonna go. Oh man. We're gonna go with the song called "Lot of Years" by Aesop Rock, not
Nice.
ASAP Rocky or whatever that guy is.
This is Aesop.
It's a song about a guy getting older and he went to a Baskin Robbins and a juice place, and it is my vibe.
Oh, a Baskin Robbins Orange Julius combo,
Ooh.
like in the mall. I think that's what they do in the mall. I don't know.
I don't
Oh
think
no, it's Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts that merged.
Yeah.
They do their joint ones.
I don't think I've ever had an Orange Julius or been. Is that a place or
It's like
a
a thing in the
beverage?
mall. Yeah, it's like a juice bar in the malls.
Oh.
It's
Remember
whatever.
malls?
Oh,
when you were
they're
a kid?
combined with the Annie Ann's pretzels. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Annie Ann's pretzels. Ooh, man, do you have anyone nearby? Those are great.
I think there's one in the outlets, in the food court of the outlets. They might be the only standing thing in our outlets. There are more empty stores than there are filled outlet stores.
Yeah, that's how our mall was, and then I'm assuming that they then lowered their price to lease the places because now there's all these really weird, like tacky stores in our mall that are just like these people would not have been able to like afford like
Yeah.
mall space 20 years ago. Like
It's
these are
just, like-
really weird stores. They get like some of the clothing stores, like it's like somebody in the back is just making them. They're like, oh, I'm gonna stick a patch on this pair of jeans and sell them.
Deborah went to like Michael's and bought the like wooden,
Yeah.
just wooden shapes and painted them. And
Exactly.
now she's selling them.
There's a couple of those in the mall. It's a little weird. It's like
No
I mean,
offense, Deborah. Have your
I don't know.
hustle.
Maybe it'll be kind of like the. Oh, wait, I can't say this word. What do you call them? Romani people. I was gonna use the other word, but I don't
The
think you
G
can say-
word,
Yeah, the
yeah.
G word. I think it's offensive. But it's like their festivals that they do where they all like
I don't know.
the tents and shit. That's what the malls are gonna become. It's just gonna be people. What do they call them? Flea markets. That's what I'm looking for. It'll be like a flea market, but like
an indoor swap meet.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the malls are gonna turn into, man. They're
Is
just gonna
it?
be
I
these
mean-
indoor flea market Romani.
Stevie Nicks wrote a song about it.
What about gypsies?
Yeah. Is it different contextually? I
mean, it's a song. I think it's fine to say the name of the song.
I mean,
I don't know. You tell us. Tell us. Can we say the word gypsy if we're talking about the Stevie Nicks song?
I don't know what the line is anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know what I can and cannot.
Don't they
cross.
say that word a lot in Hunchback of Notre Dame? Does Disney Plus have like a?
I feel like on the older things, because we put on.
Because I know they've got
there's
a
movie
bunch
about
of.
the dogs where it's just like, hey, this was made in a time where cultural norms were kind of different.
Yeah.
So you could deem this as offensive. Like, we understand why, but we're not going to.
Yeah. I guess I feel like that's kind of cool because I feel like for people like us, it's like yeah, we fucking know. Like we know that 1940 was a very different time period for people, and it was not okay. But I guess that's important for like kids especially because so many parents suck and they don't know what their kids are watching. That it's like I guess it's important to be like, hey, if you're a little kid and you're watching this, like this was a very different time period, and you have to understand that people were horrible.
The warning that they gave was very much of like, this happened, but it happened, so it's history, so it's
Yeah.
weird to like
We shouldn't
hide.
censor it and hide it. Yeah. It's like, dude, it's like the thing with like It's Always Sunny, how they took all the Lethal Weapon episodes off.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's such bullshit. Like, these were funny. And it wasn't like the joke was about how offensive that act is. It wasn't condoning it.
I don't think
It's context. There's
I mean,
context clues to it.
we'll have I'm not going to air this portion
Yeah.
of the podcast. Like, I don't think people are smart enough to understand what satire is.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, a certain word that was used in Blazing Saddles is funny because it was making fun of the fact that we're in 1970 and our thought patterns are still around how we were operating 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of ridiculous. So, like,
Well, it's
that's
like
why.
it would be like taking to keep this like to tie this back into music. It'd be like taking Steel Panther seriously, like listening to their lyrics and be like, wow,
Yeah.
you know, like this is really offensive. Like it. You have to take it in context. Like it's satire, making fun of all of the '80s bands and the glam and what they were talking about. Like
Yeah.
if you don't have that context, then yeah, I guess you could be deemed offensive. But that's your own ignorance. You know,
Yeah.
the band is putting out art. You know, it's there is something to be said there.
There was.
It's not just being offensive for the sake of being
I
offensive.
heard a story once that there was a very like prudish sounds offensive, but it was just like a very like stereotypically like properly like church raised person,
Mhm.
but they loved the song Cherry Pie by Warrant, and I think they thought it was just because they're just like, oh, she's
Literal
sweet.
cherry
She's
pie,
sweet
yeah.
like a dessert, and then they
Cool.
realized what it was about, and someone was just like, I just got to see this person's world just collapse.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's so funny because like you can take it with songs. It's like it's interesting finding out what people's lines are, how they might enjoy one thing and be like, that's not offensive. Like, you know, like for example, like that woman loved that song. He's like, oh, but then another group of people might be like, that song's really offensive. But then they might like something else that somebody else would deem offensive. Like the line just continues and continues. And it's just like,
Yeah.
if it's art and its intention is to be art, its intention is not to piss you off. Like,
Yeah.
well, even then, I feel like its intention could be to piss you off. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are definitely some people. I think you've heard probably enough stand-up comics talk where they're just like, this guy got up and just made his set like homophobic slurs and white people are great, and it's just like, this is not your 15 minutes to do that.
Yeah.
But then, you know, there are some comics who kind of push the edge and they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way.
Like I feel like you can tell when someone's intention is for it to be art, and someone's intention is, oh, they're just getting off on a soapbox and being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like if I went out and made a rap song and I just said the N-word 16 times, I feel like it'd be really hard for me to justify that as art. Like I just, you know, it'd be like, there's really, no. But if I don't know, I can't find an example. I mean, there is no example where I could use the N-word. But like if I was doing like I don't know, I'm sure there's something that I could do that would be artistic that some people might find offensive, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Like if I talked about, I don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, I think most art, most of the people that are out there, it's art. And it's like Blazing Saddles and shit like that. It's like, yeah, there was a time period where that was acceptable. Probably wouldn't do it today, but we can still respect it and be like, that is still a pretty funny fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's because it's not making fun of, it's not making fun of that person's stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's making fun of the fact that people are closed-minded enough to just assume people fall into stereotypes.
Yeah.
That's how I view it.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, this has been a fun episode.
Yeah.
We went on numerous different tirades. I think it's enjoyable.
This will get more views than the tech ones.
Yeah, well, and I think I think
we
we have to
gotta-
make sure we balance it out, you know, because I don't think we want to be just like a techie thing, because what?
Oh, I was like, I hear something. Music playing from my phone. Yeah, no, we'll get more guests on.
Yeah, I think that's why like our first episode did well. One, it was the first episode, and two, I think because we just talked about a lot of different stuff, and it was not just like, oh yeah, I mean, I like Adam and Phoenix, and I like their music, and I like their projects, but I don't want to hear about compressor settings because I'm not an engineer, and I don't give a shit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about it.
No, and I think we'll blend it. I think like maybe next time we do like half the episode is just like talking about outside shit, and then the other half will be then the tech talk. Kind of like TV shows, like some of the gaming TV shows are like in this segment, we kind of have like segments, but not
smart.
But we don't have to like break it down like fucking press the button like do welcome to this segment. Like it'll just be we'll just have it like organized in a way.
Sweet.
But yeah,
All right.
thanks for tuning in, everybody. Episode
11.
11 minutes in heaven.
Oh,
Oh, we get naughty talk, baby. Catch us at the post show.
sweet.